You are listening to the B2B Marketing Mindset with Pete Monfre and Bill Lowell. We want to help demystify marketing to reduce risk, drive more and better opportunities, and grow your business. Are you ready to master marketing?
All right, let's get into the B2B Marketing Mindset, shall we? I'm Pete Monfre, and my co-host Bill Lowell is off today. So you get me wearing a tie. Bill always wears a tie, and I feel so underdressed. Oh, I almost forgot something. Got to turn on the high-tech technology that we pride ourselves here on the B2B Marketing Mindset. Check it out. 1996 iMac works great. Although that's really the only thing it can do. So every week we go live on LinkedIn to help businesses, make better marketing decisions. Today we're talking about red flags to watch out for when you're hiring a marketer or a marketing firm or a freelancer or your nephew, whatever. As usual, there's a lot more information on this topic at b2bmarketingmindset.com. Want to thank our producer, Enzo, for maintaining that website and helping us make this thing happen. I encourage you to check that out. We always put a lot more information than we can cover here. But today we're going to be covering 6 key points to help you avoid getting taken to the cleaners, which happens far too often in my experience. And one of the main reasons I started blogging about 15 years ago, and then about a year ago I started this podcast, is to help you avoid these fly-by-night, seat-of-the-pants hustlers, liars, and thieves, oh my, that seem to be attracted to marketing like Joe Biden is to steep staircases. Oh, yeah, I was ringing the bell on that one. You know, it's no, seriously though, it's really hard because you rely the whole reason you're bringing somebody in is because maybe you don't have the expertise and you want to bring that expertise in. So it does put you at kind of a natural disadvantage, and it makes it especially difficult to kind of see through the smooth talk and the slick websites and all that stuff. In fact, I'm going to admit I just made the same mistake with a roofing company. They were referred to me by somebody that I trusted, and I failed to do my homework, and we relied on them. They seemed very competent and trustworthy, and now I have a roof that needs a total tear off and redo. So even I fall for this. Sometimes it's hard, so don't feel bad about it, but just let us help you. So I wish there was a roofing podcast to help me, better understand the topic. Maybe somebody out there can start that. But let's jump right in, shall we? Again, b2bmarketingmindset.com every Thursday here on LinkedIn and everywhere fine podcasts are consumed. So our first point is the one-size-fits-all approach. And what I mean by that is if the marketer you're considering puts forth a proposal or even a plan after just conversing with you for a half hour or an hour or 2 hours, that's a red flag, okay? There's no way that they can understand your business in that period of time, and you can be assured that you're getting a boilerplate plan or proposal, okay? Because what worked for somebody else isn't necessarily going to work for you. And let's use roofing as an example. Now, we don't work with roofing companies that are a good fit for us. In fact, a lot of companies aren't a good fit for us. That's another thing to be aware of. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the program. But in the case of roofing companies, or any vertical, there are companies that, let's say, do websites or do marketing plans just for that vertical. And so you think, well, if it worked for XYZ roofing company, it's going to work for my roofing company. No. Okay, your company, every single company is unique, all right? Your circumstances are unique, your offerings are unique, the marketplace is unique, and so there is a lot to it, and marketing's become a very complex endeavor, and so a couple hours of conversation really aren't going to cut it. What you want to watch for is a good marketer is going to be intensely curious. They're going to ask you a lot of questions. There's going to be an intense period of time, and for us anyway, we spend a lot of time understanding the client's business, and we can't do that for free. Now what we do instead is we offer a diagnostic which is very nominally priced. We don't really make money on that, but it allows us to spend the time required to really understand what's going on and then give you recommendations that you can be sure are going to be on the mark for your company. We don't do anything boilerplate around here. Don't use AI, and we don't go out of the United States. We're a very high touch type of business. So another thing to watch out for is marketing packages that are sort of small, medium, and large. Now, there are some things that it's okay. Let's say websites. I know that our sponsor Heidi Designs, they're rolling out packages of a basic website, sort of a mid-tier website, and a more advanced website. Websites are different than marketing, right? It's because every company's unique. It's very hard to say small, medium, and large. Okay, so if you see that kind of stuff, run, because one size fits all approach is not going to work. I mean, look, it's hard enough for a custom bespoke. Don't you like that word? That's the new word for custom, bespoke. It's hard enough for that to even produce results these days with today's marketplace. So boilerplates, it's just not going to work for you. Not worth the money. Too good to be true pricing. Okay, I think this applies to almost every type of business, but I think the problem with marketing is clients don't understand what it should cost, right? It happens all the time when we're talking to people who say, hey, look, what is your expected budget for this project? And oh, that's better. There was a fan on blowing and it's probably making noise. And they honestly say, well, we're not sure. And I know it's not a negotiating tactic. They really don't know, because pricing can be just absolutely all over the place. But rule of thumb, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? So let's give you an example. PR firms, right? I've heard of clients that are paying $500 a month for a PR firm, okay? Now, we've run these types of businesses for a long time, 3 decades. And so we know what things cost. We know what our operating costs are. And let's say that PR firm is a small, maybe even a home-based business, right? $500 a month is lucky if you're going to get 4 hours a month from that company, maybe 5. If they're not making money and they don't know their costs, maybe you'll get 6 hours a month. It doesn't buy anything. $500 a month. I see SEO companies $500 a month. Websites $45 a month. Okay, there are some big catches with that. All right, we'll talk about that a little bit more too. This is a low ball strategy where it's designed, of course, to capture you and bring you in. It's often combined with controlling the assets so that it makes it really hard to move away from them. Because if they're charging you a couple $100 a month, they need to trap you so that you can stay for 3 or 4 years before they actually make any money. And all of this is, in my opinion, is unethical. It's not good for the client. We don't do it. And they are huge red flags. When they're lowballing, it could also mean that they don't have a lot of experience, right? Because people that are good at this, they don't have to lowball, all right? They are busy. They can command what price they require. And what it really means is if they're lowballing it, they're either going to be hitting you with change orders, kind of nickel and diming you all the time, or it's because they're new to the field or they don't really know what they're doing. Let me give you an example. This is always cracks me up, but I can just find dozens of these, and I've done entire programs about this. This is from Reddit, which is a great place to have 14-year-olds tell you how to run your business. But this one really stood out to me because this person is very, kudos to them for being honest. Basically bullshitted his way into a marketing leadership position. They have only theoretical experience or very little practical experience. They're making $160,000, and they're going to move their family across the country for a job that is basically to build their marketing team. Doesn't think he can pull it off. Well, buddy, I can tell you something. You can't pull it off, and what he's really trying to do is learn on your dime. You don't want marketers learning on your dime, okay? You're not looking you're not running a school. You're running a business, and so that's usually what comes along with ridiculously low prices. So make sure you know what you're getting. Ask around to see what things cost. If you're curious about what things cost, shoot me a message. We know what everything costs, and we're going to be honest with you. It doesn't matter if you hire us or not. We're not that way. But a lot of times, you'll also get with this low price thing. There'll be a time limit. You got to buy by tomorrow, or very hard sell techniques. And what it tells you is they're not really interested in solving your problem, right? They're interested in getting whatever small amount of money that you might have, and then replacing you as a client as quickly as possible. So if it sounds too good to be true, probably is. Lack of transparency. This one gets me every time. We're very transparent. And I hate to make this about us and them, or, look, there's a lot of really good agencies out there, okay? But unfortunately, there's a lot more that aren't so good. And it could be intentional, or it could be just that they don't know any better. Who knows? But a lack of transparency. So here's a test that you can use. Ask your marketer or your marketing firm or whoever you're considering to draw how they solve your marketing problems. Draw their process on the whiteboard. Okay, have them draw it out on the whiteboard. If they can't, don't hire them. Okay, they should be able to tell you succinctly how they solve marketing problems for their clients. Marketing is a lot about process. And so if they don't really have a process that they can communicate, you got to wonder about their communication skills too. But that's definitely a red flag. If they're talking a lot about, if they're sort of acting like what they do is kind of secret and it's proprietary and they can't really share it, and they won't, they sort of act like it's magic or you couldn't possibly understand it. Again, red flags. It's not. Marketing is really not that difficult to understand. It's time consuming. It's tedious. Sometimes it involves a whole lot of different skill sets, more than any other function of your business. So it can be hard to do it and implement it, but it isn't hard to understand. All right. It's the same process that any kind of consulting uses. You assess the situation, you identify gaps, you figure out what information, people, processes need to be brought to close the gaps, and then you execute. All right. Same process for every single problem that you solve in your business. And if a company comes in and their first step is, we're just going to brainstorm. Cows with sunglasses, that's not a solid process. What are you looking at me like that for? You don't like this? What about the pointing or the little gun shooty thing? No? None of that? I'm old. We used to do the gun pointy shooting thing all the time, buddy. You missed those days. All right. A lot of buzzwords, kind of inscrutable language, industry insider type language, secret formula, creating synergy, bespoke campaigns. One of the things that I think is funny, I mean, it's sad, but I still think it's funny, is everything new is something old that's been basically renamed. Okay, that's what happens. Marketing's a pretty established field, and there's not a whole lot of new things. Now there's new tools, right? And there's new ways of looking at it. But if you know your history and you'll go back and read the books, you'll see that things just kind of get recycled and renamed. So if you're hearing a lot of buzzwords, you don't understand what they're talking about, and they're not willing to explain it, again, those are big red flags. What they're basically doing is they're counting on you to be confused, and you don't want to be confused. All right. Controlling assets. This is another one. So I mentioned the $50 a month website deal, and a website is a tactic. It's not really marketing. It's part of marketing, but it's not really marketing. But we'll just use it as an example, because this happens all the time. $50 a month, but they're going to hard code your website. In other words, they're not going to use open source. And look, love it or hate it, WordPress is the worldwide standard for developing websites. Yes, people use Drupal. Yes, people use everything from HubSpot, Squarespace, blah, 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 all closed systems that you can't operate. And that's by design. They don't want you to have access to your assets. Google Analytics is another one. If they're using their own Google Analytics, instead of asking you to give them access to your analytics that you control, or the website. You should have your own hosting, right? You should control your own domains, you control your own social media, and you give them access so that you can turn that access off when you need it. Otherwise, you end up being held hostage. And I did just see another post about this exact issue. I didn't load it up into the system, but I was talking about, please help. Our our agency isn't returning our calls. We cannot access our website. They won't give us the password. What can we do? Unfortunately, the answer is nothing. What you should have done is made sure you controlled all of your own assets. Another one I saw was using the agency's pixel instead of your pixel, or using the agency's Facebook business account instead of using your business account, right? All of these things are designed to trap you. They're unethical, shouldn't happen, happens all the time. It's a big drag. So ask about it. How do they do it? What do they prefer? Okay, if it's something that is anything other than, hey, look, you control it, you own it. AdWords are another example. If they're billing a fee that includes their management and the media buy all in one, let's say, flat fee, and they're not really disclosing how much goes to management, how much goes to media, of course, they're going to want to get paid in advance, which by itself is not really a red flag. Agencies aren't banks, right? So, we shoulder an awful lot of risk. And so advance payment really isn't a red flag. But in the case of AdWords, that's something that you should have your own account, should be billing your credit card directly, and then you pay the fee to the agency. Keeps everybody honest, gives you control. And then you can see exactly what's going on there. So, and hey, if you don't have the expertise in-house, you can hire an expert to come in and audit your what's happening in your marketing. If you're not sure, again, we do this all the time. We call it a diagnostic. We do something called the Master Marketing X-ray, where if you're not sure, you don't know if you're being taken for a ride, or you're not getting the results that you want or demand, but you're not sure why, we can figure it out really fast. And doesn't matter if you work with us or not, but we're going to tell you what's broken, how to fix it, and we're going to advise you on what to do about it. A lot of times we actually help these clients. We're not right for them as an agency. We'll help them find the right partner, and that's what we get paid for. Not a big deal. So if you're not sure, ask for help. Saying yes to everything. The classic yes man. It's a good marketer or any good consultant is not going to agree with everything that you want and say or do. In fact, some of the best ones are a total pain in the ass. But that means they're really fighting to do what's right for you, because that's why you hired them, right? If you hired them to just take orders, you're doing it wrong, all right? Now, that doesn't mean that they should be fighting you on every single thing every time you turn around. But if it's always yes, it's an old term. It probably has to do with the shooty finger snapping also, the yes men, all right? Not very politically correct. I don't know if it would be called the yes people now, or the yes units. I don't know. But they're the yes men, right? Bob, that's a fantastic idea. Mary, you're the smartest person we know. Let's do that. And here's this happens in the web development business a lot too, where or any of the specialized vertical sub industries that are part of marketing. It could be SEO, it could be digital marketing, it could be whatever. Think of it this way. There's a saying, if your only tool is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So imagine this. You've decided in your infinite wisdom that a new website is going to solve all of your marketing problems, right? So what do? You call up web development companies and you tell them, hey, you need a new website, right? How many of those companies, now remember, the web development company or digital agency, they like to call themselves digital agencies when actually they sell web development, right? Or they sell SEO, all right? So whatever it is they sell, how many do you think are going to say, hold on, Mr. Prospect, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? What problem are you trying to solve? Are you sure that that's going to solve your problem? How many do you think? Let's say you ask 4 different companies. How many do you think? I'm going to say zero, right? What they're going to do instead, they're going to be like, that sounds like a fantastic idea, Mrs. Jones. Let's just write that up right now. That's a great idea. You know, that website's just going to change your life, right? No, it's not. That's a yes man, okay? Now, it could be the right answer, right? But if they're not asking the questions and they're not considering the option, that maybe it's not the right answer. And usually it's not, by the way. Um, it's it's a huge problem. Leads to a lot of heartache, disappointment. Classic yes man. It's like they have a little devil on one shoulder, a little angel on the other, because these people know, they know if it's going to solve their problem. And the little angel's like, hey, don't take the money. It's not going to help this client. Don't take it. And the devil's like, take the money, you dumbass. Take it, take it. Don't do it. It's wrong. I don't care. Take the money. All right. This is what goes on, right? And you want to avoid that. So, if you're not getting any pushback, it should cause you some pause, something to wonder about. So saying yes to everything. Is it cooperation or is it being a yes man? Who knows? Promising immediate results. Now, this is a little tougher, right? Promising immediate results. Hopefully you know by now, I know I've said it enough if you've been listening, it's kind of related to the yes man thing where they're going to tell you what you want to hear. Look, a prospect may say, look, we're going to spend a little bit of money and we're going to see if it works. And if it works, then we're going to spend more, right? And so that vendor is going to be tempted to promise, absolutely, you're going to see results in 30 days. You're going to see results right away. You're going to see results in 2 months, right? Doesn't work that way. Marketing takes time to work. And the reason nobody's going to tell you that is, again, they don't want to derail the sale. The sale is more important than solving the problem. And so by the time you figure out that actually the reality is it's going to take 90 days, it might take 6 months. Actually, it depends on where you are in your marketing journey, right? If you're new to marketing, you're just starting out, it's going to take longer. And don't forget your sales cycle. How long is your sales cycle? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Okay. That means you start marketing today, you might see revenue in 6 months or a year. Now, results, what does that mean? It could mean anything, right? It means that in 3 months, if what we like to do is agree on the key performance indicators. And we can confidently say that within 90 days, you are going to see tangible results from our work. Okay, 90 days. Now, even that's too long for a lot of clients. They want it right now. And so the industry's response to that is to make this promise that's completely unrealistic. It takes time to work, and nobody wants to tell you that because they want your money. And so the other thing that you'll see with this, if they're promising immediate results or short-term results, is they're probably going to be using vanity metrics. And vanity metrics are things like calling clicks leads. Like somebody clicks and that's a lead. No, it's not. It's just a click. I click on a lot of things. It doesn't mean I'm buying, that new BMW. Traffic, your overall traffic. Now, is it a clue that things are going in the right direction? Yes, but by and of itself, it is not a valuable metric. Trying to think of some other ones. Oh, likes, shares, comments, followers. All these things, we call them vanity metrics because they don't really matter that much. You have to decide what really matters. Did they lower your cost of acquisition? Did they increase the number of qualified leads by a quantifiable amount? Did their work help you improve your close rate? Now remember, marketing people and marketing firms don't close deals. That's sales, right? There are very few companies that cross that barrier between marketing and sales. We do, actually. We don't go out and close sales for our clients, but we do consult on matters concerning sales because our job is to solve your problem, right? If we spot a problem with your sales process, we're going to bring that up because we're more like management consultants that focus on client acquisition more than we're marketing consultants. But marketing people usually stay in their lane. They don't close deals. So if they're making a lot of promises about revenue, It just doesn't work that way. And most marketing folks really don't know anything about sales, and ask your sales team and they'll tell you the same thing. Of course, if you ask your marketing team, they're going to tell you your salespeople don't know how to sell. Probably both right. But I think you got to take that into account. Sales cycle, there's so many factors that impact the timetable as to when you're going to see a return on your investment, because that's really what clients are usually looking for. They don't care if they got 100,000 more likes. What they care about is, did the register ring? Did they hear the magic sound? There it is. Oh, I love that sound. Now, how you measure that, I mean, every situation's unique. I think the important thing is to agree on what counts, what doesn't count, what are the key performance indicators that you're going to be looking at. One of our clients, we identified 28 KPIs, but we prioritized them. Which ones are the most important? One huge KPI was that we reduced their ad spend by 83%, while we increased their conversion rate over 1,000%. So essentially, we were able to achieve that because they were just overpaying so much for their set of keywords in their advertising that we just fixed it. I mean, that was it. And their website was way out of in left field. And so just by realigning it with what they actually did in their value proposition, we were able to show amazing jumps in a very short period of time, just because previously it was so terrible. And so, but the real work starts once those things are in place, and then you're dealing with humans, right? Humans are messy. The way they think is messy. They're hard to predict, right? The marketplace is chaotic. COVID, for example, has changed everything in the market. So if you're still doing what you were doing just 3 years ago, there's probably a good chance that you're missing your numbers. And let me plug this. Coming up in late September or early October, we're going to be doing a panel with some amazing people, and we're going to be talking about how the B2B buyer's behavior has changed post-COVID. Super important. We do not see a lot of people talking about this except for the large research tanks, McKinsey, Gartner, Forrester, Harvard Review. They're all talking about it, but when we talk to clients about it, they look at us like we're from outer space, right? But they're still wondering what's going on. How come we're not seeing the same opportunities? It's because everything has changed except your marketing, okay? So we're going to watch for that panel. Subscribe at b2bmarketingmindset.com. Where is it? There it is right there. And then you'll get notifications of all the cool stuff that we're doing. Follow me on LinkedIn. And hopefully you'll see the invitations to this panel. I think it's going to be either very low cost or free, and I'm really looking forward to it. I can't really announce who's on it. I'm really tempted to because they're amazing, but we're going to make sure that we have everything lined up before we announce that. And gosh, that's really it. We're coming to the end of the episode here, and the reason I know that is because, let me see if I hear it. Is it there? Oh man, it's not there. Where is it? Oh. Well, we used to have music that played towards the end, but now I don't know what's going on. So there you go. I think we have to go to the end of the program to get the music. I don't know what's happening because I'm actually just... half of our team isn't here today, but we're holding down the fort, and we appreciate you staying with us today, and we will see you next week, Thursday, and Bill Lowell will be back, and we'll be talking about more B2B marketing. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the B2B Marketing Mindset with Pete Monfre and Bill Lowell. Add to the conversation by commenting, sharing, and liking. And don't forget to subscribe and check out the links in the comments. Learn more at b2bmarketingmindset.com.